Hi everyone, my name is Trista Castillo, and today I'm going to be showcasing my social media campaign that I made for my sister and her coffee shop. So, her coffee shop is called Yellowbird Coffee Shop, and it's located in Mission, Texas. And it's a new coffee shop. It actually opened in February, and at the time of recording, it's March. So it's been about a month, and I've been kind of working behind the scenes in creating a summer campaign for her that's going to be really representative of her brand. So, first things first, let me introduce a little bit about Yellowbird. So, it is a woman owned coffee shop opened in Mission, Texas. It's near McAllen and Edinburgh. So, those are some major cities if you don't know a little bit about the RGV. And it's nearby some high schools. So it's nearby Sharyland High Schools, Mission CISD, and a lot of residential neighborhoods. So Yellowbird has a really great positioning because it's also one of the only locally owned coffee shops in the vicinity. There's a lot of competition, however. If you go on TikTok right now, you'll see that the RGB, there's so many food reviewers and so many coffee shops opening up left and right. So a little bit about Yellowbird that makes them a little bit different is that they're locally inspired. They're connected to the RGV culture. Yellowbirds actually are native to the RGV, and there's a lot of bird watchers and a big bird watching community that, we have tons of birds. It's actually kind of crazy how many different species come to the RGV. So when the yellowbird is one of them. And they also kind of want to be focused on community and creativity and connection. So Yellowbird wants to position themselves as a neighborhood coffee shop. And so for the social media campaign that I created, that's going to be launching in the summer, it's a lot of community events. It's a lot of awareness and just trying to get the word out there. So let's talk a little bit about the problem and the opportunities that Yellowbird has right now. So the main issue obviously is awareness, and because it's so new and there's so many different coffee shops that are opening up, like I just said, but there's also we're competing with chains. There's a lot of chains in the RGV. We have Starbucks, we have Dutch Bros, we have Scooters, we have Seven Brew. There's endless amount of different types of chains that we have. I don't know why. I feel like in McAllen or in the RGV, you just tend to get all of the chains. So we really want to build awareness through our social media and a lot through and build like a community. So that's kind of the main issue, but the opportunity is there to build awareness and showcase that we're from the RGV, which is something that is really, really important. Okay, so second thing, here are the target publics. Actually, I don't know why I said second thing, so let me start over. These are the target publics. This is what Yellowbird wants to kind of push their content towards. There's STC is really close. South Texas College is very close to Yellowbird, and the typical UTRGV student, um, the University of Rio Grande Valley in Edinburgh, a lot of them commute. So there is a big market for just college students in general, high schools, middle schools. There's about, there's a few that are around the area as well. Also, just young adults that are 18 to 34, that are using social media, looking for a place to study, and also a place to do maybe have a date or, social spaces like that. Public number two that Yellowbird is trying to target is nearby residents and community adults. So, with that being said, it's the 25-year-olds to 54-year-olds who are professionals, who are, they have families. I don't know if I mentioned this, but Yellowbird is near 100 homes. There's a huge residential community that was just built maybe a couple years ago. So yeah, also people who value local business. I know some people don't really, there's a few people who probably don't really like chains as much as they like local, people who just support local and like to go to routine coffee shops is a target public for us. So the goal of the campaign is to increase awareness and engagement with Yellowbird Coffee Shop by positioning it as a welcoming destination for students and nearby residents. So we want to, I want Yellowbird to increase awareness by 25%, improve brand perception by 15%, and increase Instagram engagement and followers by 30%. Now, I know this is kind of like a crazy margin, but I think by this summer, if the campaign runs smoothly, this is really doable just because there's so much going on in the summer, and there's so much that Yellowbird can do and kind of take advantage of. Okay, so here's my big idea for Yellowbird. So I'm calling it the Find Your Nest campaign. So the key messages I have here is Yellowbird is a place to relax, connect, and feel at home. It's inspired by, a bird's nest. Like, you want to feel at home. You want to, you want to go to your nest pretty much. It's like a home away from home. And it encourages customers to make Yellowbird their go-to coffee spot. So that's kind of the messaging that I want Yellowbird to kind of come across as. A lot of competition just kind of keep their brand and talk about, their coffees, their matchas, but Yellowbird can really emphasize the feeling of feeling at home and feeling comfortable in a community. So here are some of the campaign strategies. So I'm going to use social media to storytell, using influencer partnerships, and focusing on community center events. Yellowbird is going to be really hitting it hard with Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. But Instagram and TikTok are kind of going to be the main ones that we're going to be looking at. Facebook is more of like maybe for events, but also just for static photos, awareness, just to keep our brand like all in one. So here is the campaign timeline. So like I said, it's going to launch in the summer, June to August, just because I want to give Yellowbird enough time to work out the kinks because they're new. So there's a lot of key moments that are going on in the summer. We got National Iced Tea Day, you got Independence Day, National Matcha Day, which is really awesome for Yellowbird's case because Yellowbird actually has matcha that's imported from Japan. So, they can have a great matcha day. The back to school season is coming up. So that's something that's going to be huge. Just doing a lot of back to school content, getting those new students to come in and to find, their nest. And then those community events that we have been talking about this whole presentation is just pretty much like bringing community together in a positive way with cool interests. So here's just kind of an overview of how the campaign is going to go. So as you can see, Yellowbird is going to be really busy with their key publics. So at the top, we have key public 1. We got your students and young adults. And this is going to encourage, them to try out Yellowbird, the study promo reels. We got summer drinks, iced tea day, for instance, back to school content. And then going down to key public number 2, you got Independence Day, small business collaborations. You can find a small business to kind of collaborate with, a matcha promotion. You got Facebook and Instagram event promotion. So that's kind of going to get the community together. So those are some of the tactics I have for June through August, and it's going to be pretty packed. So this is kind of just an overview of the weeks. So it's just easier for you to post when you see it like this. It's more of just an organizational calendaring type of template. And this is going to run June 1st through August 25th. And it's going to increase your engagement among students and nearby residents. And it's going to just be awesome. Yellowbird will be in a position to align their core values and gain that awareness in the community. So I created a couple of sample social media content for you. And so the examples I have here is, study hour promo for students. So this is a good idea to kind of get new students involved and get them that discount. If you're a student, I'm a student right now, so you need some discounts and you need some coffee when you're doing long projects. Also a matcha collaboration post, maybe you can collaborate with a local business nearby. I know Yellowbird is near a couple of businesses. There's a dog groomer, there's an antique store, there's a Mexican restaurant. Matcha collaboration would be so fun with any of those businesses. And then we have a community wellness event. This is kind of something I mocked up here just to see like, okay, maybe you can do like a Pilates event inside the coffee shop and sell coffees, matchas, stuff like that. The find your nest content, I mean, that's going to be a great hashtag to have. Like you can make a carousel, you can do a bunch of different Instagram stories, reels, recaps, like just kind of thanking people that they found their nest. Okay, so let's talk about the budget. So I proposed to have a $300 budget just because it's so new. I didn't want to create a budget that's out of this world and getting so much attention that it's just kind of, we're not really hitting the key demographic that we want to hit. So we're going to be focusing more on organic social media content, influencer collaborations. You can use some of the budget for that, depending on whether you want to pay some influencers or do you want to just pay them in product. Community event promotions. I mean, that could just be, you can do an Instagram post, sponsored Instagram or Facebook post with those. All depends on the way you want to go about it, but I think a $300 budget is doable, especially within the span of 3 months. Okay, so let's talk about the evaluation. So how are we going to measure everything? Definitely through likes, comments, shares, growth in Instagram followers. We're going to track that. Okay, so we're going to start off in June. We're going to check it out, like what we have, and then we're going to see at the end of it how much followers we got. We're going to count how many tagged photos, user-generated content, and do all of that good stuff, like finding out the engagement, if we grew in engagement, if we didn't. And also just kind of see the type of followers we're getting, the demographic wise, just because we want to make sure that we're reaching the right audience, not just reaching an audience that's not what we're trying to do. Because maybe we're not speaking to them in the correct way. We can always reevaluate that. So, okay, why this campaign is going to work? It's because it's going to build your identity, your community identity. We're going to use social media as a storytelling tool. I really want to see content that's relatable. It's also about like the founder. I wanted to highlight local culture, like bringing people together and kind of just like making Yellowbird the place where it's a place to be. It's the go-to coffee shop. It's the neighborhood coffee shop. That's kind of the feeling that we want. It's the Valley's coffee shop. And encourage customer engagement. Again, with that, like just bringing people together in a community. So with all that being said, the Find Your Nest campaign positions Yellowbird Coffee Shop as more than just a place to grab coffee. By combining social media, storytelling, community engagement, and strategic partnerships, Yellowbird can build a strong brand awareness and create meaningful connections with customers in the Rio Grande Valley. So I just want to say thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you soon.